Welcome to Power Monday, where your Mondays will never be blue again. Hello everybody, good morning and welcome back to another episode of Power Monday, where your Mondays will never be blue again. As always, my name is Taufik, and if this is your first time tuning in, Power Monday is ERA's original podcast where we bring in the best of the best in the industry to share their real life journeys, the strategies that kept them through, and the best practices for success. So if you guys are looking for your weekly dose of motivation and inspiration, we're here for you every Monday 10 a.m. and you can also catch us on One ERA YouTube and One ERA SG Spotify. Now, here in a Power Monday studio, meet a real estate strategist with over 15 years of experience who has inspired many homeowners and investors to achieve financial success in their real estate investments, known for his ability to reframe common investment mindset and forecast exit strategies to empower his clients to maximize their investments. Coming from a modest background, growing up in a 3-room HB flat with 6 family members, he knew firsthand the value of hard work and grit, and his journey exemplifies dedication to providing a better lifestyle for his family while empowering others to achieve success through real estate. So please join me in welcoming in the Power Monday studio, KS Tang.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Taufik.
Thank you so much for joining. Okay, we never really met and have a proper conversation. So maybe you can share with me and the audience, what's your real estate journey like? How did you got into real estate?
Well, as you can basically got from the backstory you shared just now, not dealt with the right cards was what gotten me into the business.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because there isn't an income ceiling, and that's where you're able to, achieve as much as possible as long as you have the grit to achieve them. So that's what got me into the industry. That is the shorter version of it.
Do you ever always wanted to do real estate?
I always know that I have a talent for sales.
Ah.
Yeah.
So that was something that you just jumped into right after your studies?
The funny thing is, in Polytechnic, I repeated a module that I really hate a lot. It's called C programming. Something you always got to remember with no basis, at least in my opinion. Right. I'm not sure about those who thrive in that module, and kudos to all of you. But I didn't. So you can call it, bad luck, or you can call it you make the best out of what you got. And mine is likely the later. I went to work as a sales guy in Zara boutique, if you know Zara. Yeah, correct. So that's how my dressing is also influenced a lot as well. So very Italian, very Spanish. So yeah, you guys, if you are seeing, then of course you can see what I'm dressing. If not, then yeah. Okay. But the thing here is that after that I was then thought about something that could really amplify the sales skill set of mine, and I joined this outdoor furniture shop called Marquee Living that is part of our Plus group of companies as well. So as a part-timer, having that 6 more months free before I go into the army, surprising thing was it was a female working environment. I'm the only male there. I'm the part-timer. The rest are full-time. My commission skyrocketed above all of them. And, when you do that, there are some envy, there are some jealousy, and things like that happen. So that's how I managed to find that I have a knack for sales.
Nice. So bringing to today's topic, understanding the power of patterns. So maybe you can introduce to us, what do you mean by understanding the power of patterns?
Sure. The power of patterns basically has 3 levels. And understanding these 3 levels will allow you to have the mindfulness and consciousness of tackling the day and how you show up.
Okay.
So the very first level is this level called pattern recognition. And pattern recognition requires a set of awareness that you are in a pattern. And if you see why certain people, for example, are still in a pattern like not doing well in their sales in the area of real estate, and going for, courses and seminars and whatnot, and then still not getting the results.
Yeah.
There must be a certain pattern there that they are not seeing. Because if the same condition has been, shown, but the result is still the same, that means something is really quite not recognized, and hence they are repeating the same patterns.
Yeah.
Not quite recognized. So the easiest way for them to justify why they are not getting the results could be blaming that thing that didn't work.
Yeah.
So I'm a believer of power follows the blame finger. So whatever you blame, you give them the power, and hence you're able to justify yourself. So for example, if you blame the government, then the power is given to the government.
Yeah.
If you blame the course that you attend is not good, and hence you're not getting the result, and of course the power is given to the course trainer.
Yeah.
But if you are blaming yourself by pointing inwards, then it's a very different story, because right now you have the power to change things. Instead of just feeling justified, right now we have the ability to take action and then get results. So that's the first thing, which is recognition.
Yeah.
The second level is this thing called pattern utilization. Because only when you are able to recognize patterns, you are then able to use it to your advantage. And this is a skill set that allows people to anticipate, to forecast what's happening. And that's where they are able to prepare and, of course, set a set of precedents that allows them to thrive.
Yeah.
So the utilization skill set, as an example, probably you can talk about the cyclical history of mankind. So there's a series of events that happens in the past, and this has already created a certain level of patterns that has helped people to prepare for what's were to benefit for them. So what I mean by that is good times create weak people. Weak people creates bad times. Bad times create strong people. And strong people creates good times. And if you know this cycle, what you will do is you will know when to seed, when to sow, when to harvest, and when to keep your harvest. And the funny thing here is that many people do not know that good times doesn't last forever.
Yeah.
Just like bad times.
Yeah.
And when they harvest, they think they have the whole harvest for the rest of their life. So understanding this cycle will allow one to really set precedents and really prepare, because preparation is key to everything that we do. If not, we will then show up at life being very reactive. And that's what consciousness is about. Because if you're not conscious, you're operating by subconscious. And that's where you're on autopilot.
Correct.
Okay? So the third level is this thing called pattern creation. Pattern creation is where you see the disruptors in the industry, or if not, the game changer in the industry, or the gurus in the industry. Because these people not just understand patterns and able to use them. Right now, they are able to create their own. So they have their own framework, their own proven strategies, and right now they are the game changer. They are the one controlling the market. So understanding these three levels will allow you to basically play at a very different pace, and of course, success in the industry. So how would these three different levels then show up in a level of progression in one's real estate journey, you may ask?
Yeah.
Okay. So it all boils down to what kind of need that we are trying to serve. So I call them these three levels of centricness. And the first level is this thing called egocentric, where you are, by the name itself, ego, it means serving your own needs.
Yeah.
The second level is this called ethnocentric. Ethnocentric is where you're serving your community, the people that you care, and the people that you love, basically people that you within your tribe. And the third level, they're the joint of two levels of centricness. One is called world-centric, world, and the other one is spiritual. So it all boils back down to the power patterns, because they utilize these three skill sets. So and this particular centricness then further amplify to this thing called the 8 levels of consciousness.
Oh, wow.
So getting deeper here, you can see. Yeah. And the first 3 levels, the 8 levels of consciousness, basically covers ego. The second 2 level covers ethno, which is community. And the last level covers the creation. Okay? So how would that, not creation, sorry, covers the level of world and spiritual centricness. So how would it then right now build from one to the next? So the thing here is that the very first level of consciousness is called survival, where you can't even pay your bills. You can't even, get the basic need being met. And when you're at that level, your only things that you look out for is yourself, your next meal. Yeah. And of course, what you really want as a human being is certainty.
Correct.
All right. And that's the lowest level. The second level is this level called tribal and community. You see, if you're in an organization when it's lunchtime and you're sitting alone and everybody's sitting together and laughing and whatnot, you're being outcast, right?
Oh my God.
Everybody wants a sense of belonging. Especially if you guys been to army before, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing is, in the olden days, if you are being outcast, the consequences are really high. Be stoned to death. Everybody wants a sense of belonging. Of course, at this level, it's still not too bad as survivor. The third level is where you are called a power god. You are power crazed. At this level, you have some form of drive at least, not just finding a sense of belonging or even finding your basic needs. And this level is where some level of significance beyond certainty is also part of the human needs. And that's where, these kind of people are typically found in very strong achievers that could do everything by left just to get the results. And for what? Recognition for themselves. So they can step everyone and just go to the top. Yeah. All right. And these 3 are under ego. And how do you elevate from one level to the next? Only when you have reached a certain level of what? Satiation.
Okay.
When you think about all these things or achievement that you've gotten and you kill all these people on the way up, then you ask yourself, how long does the happiness last? Wow, not even more than a day. But these people hate you for a lifetime. And then you ask yourself, what is all these consequences for?
Yeah.
And that's where you try to do some form of internal inquiry, life inquiry.
Yeah.
And that's where you realize that, hey, that's not what you want, and you move on to your next level. And that's the next level, which is the first level of ethnocentricness. And that's called that's called law and order and structure. So the first 3 levels just now I talk about is all under ego. So the law and order is a bit different, where things is either left or right.
Okay.
Or black or white.
Black or white, yeah.
Yeah, there's hierarchy. And they like to follow rules. That is the rule that keeps them certain. Because they're scared of gray area. Yeah, and this is of course for people who are pretty much in a compliance, profession, etc. As you can see a lot.
Yeah.
But the thing is, why is this level one level above the power god? Because these people knows and been through a power god before. That's why they are on top of them in order to forecast what they are going to do by left in advance. Right? So that's it. These people are there for a reason because they were once a power god.
Yeah.
Right? And they also utilize what? This skill set called pattern utilization. Okay? And then the next level we have is this level called striver driver. So what is a striver driver? The striver driver are basically the chief of an organization. What they are after in terms of, character traits are basically growth and also this thing called significance. But because they have growth, it's a bit different. They will know how to utilize people to get the best result for the organization. And of course, in return, they also be benefited as well.
Correct.
So how? They will probably tell the power god, hey, I want this KPI, go for it. Do whatever you can to do for me. And then you will tell the law and order guy watch him. Watch him tight. Make sure he doesn't do anything that let us down. But he knows he's going to get result. And he know how to play the chess game so that he will be able to leverage. So that guy is a bit more strategic, but all in all, it's still for growth and significance. And that's still part of what? Pattern utilization. And for the community of the organization, which is under ethno centricness. So the third level, which is world-centric, and also we talk about being spiritual-centric, is where if you've seen people who are world-centric, they are like out of the capitalism world. They are for the corals and the ocean, the heartbeat of every being, even an ant, they can't kill. They are always advocating for certain rights, human rights, like whatever pollution that you see, they're always the advocate, for that. But the thing is, they don't really care about the capitalism world. They're in their own world. And of course, we didn't talk about the next two level, which is the spiritual, right? So the spiritual ones, we have one that's called flex flow. So what are flex flow? These are the people that have one of the highest, or if not the highest, awareness. There's no left or right. There's no hierarchy. There's no beauty. There's no ugly. It's all about the cause, the mission. What are we fighting for here? The best people make the decision. The best people lead the team. Because it's for the cause. It's no I wrong, you right, I wrong. There's no personal agenda here. It's whichever strategy that best makes sense for the mission that we are in here for. And they are able to step out from their being to look at the whole thing in short. Not looking at the tree that's burning, but looking at the whole forest so that they are able to plan the right strategy to get the right people to save the forest. All right? And the last but not least is we call this spiritual awakening. That one's a bit different. This is the Mahatma Gandhi of the world, the Mother Teresa of the world, the Nelson Mandela of the world. Not many get there. So understanding these different centricness, in short, will allow you to know how you are able to clear one level to the next. Typically, is because you'll find that what you're fighting for through this journey called the hero's journey, that you're being called into action. If you don't really know about a hero's journey, I'm not sure whether you know about the hero's journey, by the way, Taufik.
Oh, no.
Not really.
Whatever you just shared is already very cheap for me. I'm like trying to process.
You can tell that I came here prepared. Without a script.
I'm like,
without a book.
What's happening?
I'm diving in to really, bring out the essence of why I'm here.
It's fantastic. It's fantastic.
The thing here is that whenever I show up, I make sure that I'm adding value. And value from a place of to serve. And of course, here I am here to serve as well. So what I want to share here is that this hero's journey got to do a lot with like an ordinary life. If you look at the hero's journey, it's always about an ordinary life that has a very, very powerful, dragon that he got to slay. There's a problem that will show up. And this guy denied the problem, keep on not wanting to face the problem until the dragon became so huge and he left with no choice but to fight the dragon. And that's the thing about us. We think that, we don't like problems, right? Who likes problems, right? But what if problems is a sign or calling for us to grow beyond ourselves?
Correct.
And if you don't grow beyond that, the same problem will always show up. That's why some people are always stuck in the same problem, we realize. Because they refuse to take the call. They become bigger than who they are. So only when we are able to recognize that problems is our next level calling us, we will then be able to summon all the energy that we have to tackle the problem. And with that problem being tackled, guess what? You then be able to come back as a hero. And what would you do? You would then share it with others. Share the fruits, share the victory, share whatever. And that's where beyond self, because that's where you are able to impact and change life. So that's what the hero's journey is about. And of course, this is not going to end. Your next problem is going to show up, etc., because...
Bigger dragon.
Exactly.
Might be smaller sword, but...
yeah, but bigger dragon, right? Yeah, but the thing is that, no, the dragon is always going to be bigger because you're always going to be at your next level, right?
Correct.
But the thing is, you no longer have a stick fighting against a bear based on your first level. This time around, as you grow along the way, wow, the dragon is huge. But guess what? You have 3 nations behind you. You have probably how many military behind you to fight that, and you're a lot more equipped because you got that resources along the way. Yeah, so it's very different playing field because every level there's a new devil, right?
Yeah.
So I just want to share for everyone here is that the entire thing that I'm sharing with you here right now, to really digress it to the essence, is this thing called the path of meaning, because meaning is what make us believe what we believe.
Yeah.
That created the action that we do that give us the result that we have today. Because if we think that problems is problem, then we will shy away from them and we'll never grow.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But what if I were to tell you that the only person without problems are those in the graveyard?
That's true.
And if there's no problem to solve, is there money to be made?
No.
So then should we be a lifelong learner and be a solution provider by understanding that probably we have 100% of energy and attention here.
Correct.
Probably give our 1% to the problem to identify them and 99% to the solution. That's how we are able to create compelling energy to drive down the money-making opportunity, which many people can't see.
Yeah. Wow, this is very insightful. And then for people not just in the real estate industry who has their like very packed life, packed schedules, right? What advice would you give for them to keep conscious about all these kind of patterns about yourself? Like, or what, are you egocentric? Are you ethnocentric? Yeah.
Sure. So one of the things that you want to really understand is what is your need that you're after.
Okay.
Because I learned from this big guy, if you know about him, his name is called Tony Robbins. He used to be called Anthony Robbins. So he talked about this thing called the 6 human needs. And all of us has these 6 needs. So the very first is certainty, right? Because that's survival.
Correct.
And if you can't even get out of this, how are you going to do more things?
Yeah.
So you got to get your basic needs met. And that's pretty much the concept and metaphor of if you're in an airplane and the oxygen level dropped, are you supposed to put a mask for your children first or put it for yourself first? What's the answer?
It's yourself.
Exactly. Because you can't take care of yourself, how are you going to take care of others?
Correct.
Right. So the thing is, are you able to even take care of yourself?
Yeah.
So how are you going to protect and take care of yourself? That would be your next question. That's where you're going to be able to craft out time, not about a to-do list, which is what everybody's trying to do, but in fact, a not to-do list. Yeah. So what is a not to-do list? Basically, to kick out habits that's not serving you.
Yeah.
Scrolling aimlessly on social media, binge watching, all these things, cut it out. If you don't even cut it out, where do you have the vacuum of time to put in more things? So we all have 24 hours a day. Nobody has 25.
Yeah.
So instead of putting more, you may want to filter first.
Yeah.
That filtering process is so cleansing. But ultimately, you must know what you want in life. In fact, many people don't even know themselves.
Correct.
Many of them are validating themselves through the external comparison of whatever they hold themselves to.
And that's when your to-do list gets longer, but it never gets achieved.
Absolutely.
That's why it's interesting to say do a not to-do list, because that makes more sense.
Yeah.
And I think it's easier to kind of like self-reflect if you do a not to-do list.
Yes.
Check out the habits. Oh wow.
Correct.
Oh my God.
Correct. Because what we want to do here is to really be intentional.
Yeah.
And many of us are not intentional. Because again, in today's fast-paced world, with all these easy access to social media platforms on our mobile phones.
Yes.
The very key commodity that we need to uphold of is these character traits called focus.
Yeah.
Once you have focus, you can do a lot of things because you are able to get a lot of things done faster than many people who are all over the place.
Yep.
Have you heard about this guy that also do well in real estate, also do well in drop shipping, also do well in probably Bitcoin? Have you?
No.
No, same. Right?
Yeah.
How? I don't know. But the main thing here is focus. Focus is key.
Yeah.
Yeah, and how do you focus? Less thing on your plate.
Correct.
And to digress it even further, like I mentioned, things that are not serving you, get it out of the way. People or even references that you're getting. So I have this saying that the quality of your references is the quality of your results. Because who you seek advice from is what kind of advice you're gonna do, and that's the result they're gonna have.
Correct.
Yeah. So I'm very careful about my circle of friends or the people that I hang out with, because last thing I want is hearing people with a sense of problem, but the only problem is themselves and they don't want to see it, which is very clear. But of course, that requires a certain level of awareness and consciousness as well.
Yeah. Wow, that's... It's like, I tell a lot of my guests in Power Monday that it's also kind of like a consultation, free consultation for me, for my life, to open up a new perspective. Wow, oh my God, that's very deep insight. Okay, then what advice would you give to someone who's struggling to find their footing? I mean, there might be someone who already knows all of these patterns, all of this type of level of needs, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes they can't find their footing to even start to self digest and piece their own puzzle.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that I come from this, I would say, contrarian view, where in school we are supposed to work on our weakness. That's in school. But in real life, we don't have the luxury. We got to first understand and being aware of our strength.
Yeah.
You see, the same time spent on your weaknesses and the same time spent on your strength, one will bring you to average. The other one will bring you to mastery.
Yeah.
So what we are trying to really optimize here is time.
Yeah.
And being very selective. So only when you know that what is your strength, which means again, inquiry, getting references, getting repetition of doing sets of things, and you know that, hey, how come people take longer, but for you take shorter? That is a sign that you have certain talent in this field. And right now is how are you going to put that talent into use? And that's your job.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. So it's not just about merely comparing why someone else is doing better, but it's also identifying that some talents you have are better than others, and that's where you have to work towards instead of worrying about other things that you are not good at.
Absolutely.
That's when the not to-do list comes into play also, right?
Absolutely.
Wow. Nice. Oh, this has been an interesting episode. I really wish we had more time. But before we end off this episode, any last words of encouragement or advice to our ERI teammates who are tuning in?
I would say if you could drop external validation, you would be powerful, because that's where you're able to dive inwards to really uncover your true greatness.
Okay, that is going to be in the teaser for this episode. All right, Kineston, thank you so much for joining me in this studio. And thank you guys for tuning in to this episode of Power Monday. To sum it up, recognizing, utilizing, and creating patterns can transform your personal and professional life. So if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to continue to follow us on Spotify and leave a comment on our YouTube. We'd love to read them. Stay tuned for more powerful episodes. Until next time, keep pushing forward. Stay empowered as we continue to rise by raising others. And remember, your Mondays will never have to be blue again. It's been Taufik and Kineston. Have a great week, everybody. Bye-bye.
Power Monday, where your Mondays will never be blue again.